Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. At The Report, I'm Chase Napier.
And I'm Monique Barrios. The Report is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. Jimmy Carter had surgery on Tuesday to reveal bleeding in his brain after taking several falls in the last 3 months. He's recovering at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, and the 95-year-old former president recently had a hip replacement and several stitches were required after one of those falls. He had bounced back from his previous injuries to show up for a house building project with Habitat for Humanity. The length of his recovery remains indefinite.
Michael Bloomberg, billionaire and former mayor of New York, has expressed intentions to enter the 2020 Democratic primary. Last summer, Bloomberg had publicly stated that he would not be running in the 2020 election. Though he has not officially announced his campaign, Bloomberg has already filed in 2 states. Polls show the race in a virtual toss-up between the top 4 candidates. Bloomberg believes there is a space to run on the Democratic ticket as a middle moderate. A successful run by Bloomberg may effectively dampen the more progressive campaigns of Warren and Sanders. Opponents have criticized him as another billionaire with intentions of buying the national election for himself.
The University Police Department is campaigning to strengthen its community service unit. Our reporter Jay explains this work study is so important to the campus.
With over 40,000 enrolled, Cal State Fullerton has the largest student body in the CSU system. To help monitor the campus, the UPD hires students as community service officers through a work-study program.
It's extremely important to have these CSOs help us out. They're kind of our right-hand people, per se, second set of eyes and ears around campus.
Cal State Fullerton has seen an increase in high-profile incidents on the campus. Such events have prompted the administration to authorize extra funding for the CSO program.
We have hired about 50 of them at this time. We usually carry about 40, but just because of recent events on the campus, the vice president allowed us to hire even more.
The UPD has launched a PR campaign encouraging students to apply for the program. Plastered on posters across campus, CSO Supervisor Noah Maldonado is the face of that program.
The CSO position, I couldn't think of a job that can be more convenient, so it's very easy for us to work around everybody's schedule and make sure that school is their priority because it should be. We do have priority registration, so that is one of the major bonuses with our position.
A handful of CSO officers are assigned to the front desk of the UPD station, where they conduct administrative tasks like key checkouts, live finger scanning, and keeping an up-to-date lost and found database. The majority of officers are sent on patrol or contracted out to other parts of the school, like the library and bookstore, which commissioned the CSO program for loss prevention protection. Most notably, the CSO program provides escorts to students and staff who may feel unsafe at night. They can call the UPD or push the button at one of the blue emergency poles, and a community service escort will be on its way.
Whether you're applying in law enforcement or not, it's just a great job opportunity, and it looks great on a resume and on a background.
You can find the community service officer application under programs at police.fullerton.edu. For The Report, I'm Jay Elder.
House Democrats released a 300-page impeachment report this week, outlining evidence of the president's misconduct and obstruction. The report has been sent to the House Judiciary Committee to begin impeachment proceedings to draft articles of impeachment against President Trump. The report focused on abuses of power and charges on obstruction of the impeachment investigation. Proceedings are currently on track to see a vote on impeachment by Christmas.
Pete Buttigieg has announced the end of his campaign. He joins the ranks among several other Democratic candidates that have left the race ahead of Super Tuesday. He and Amy Klobuchar are the most recent dropouts, both performing poorly in the Nevada primaries last week. Senator Klobuchar announced her campaign with flair, standing in a Minnesota snowstorm, but was unable to win in any primary. Mayor Pete was the youngest candidate in the race and made history as the first openly gay candidate for the Democratic primary. Tom Steyer and Andrew Yang are also 2 of the more recent dropouts. 5 candidates are left in the Democratic primary race are Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Michael Bloomberg, and Tulsi Gabbard. It's the final race to the finish soon, and dropout candidates are now endorsing their used-to-be counterparts. Moderates such as Pete Buttigieg and Senator Amy Klobuchar will endorse former President Joe Biden, while many unions and organizations have endorsed Bernie Sanders, including the American Federation of Teachers and the American Postal Workers Union. Donald Trump continues to be the main candidate in the Republican race, with high hopes of nabbing the presidency once again. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to your political segment. Back to you in the main studio.
We now have breaking news. We are interrupting our entertainment segment to bring you up-to-date reports of a school shooting at Saugus High School in Santa Clarita. According to the LA Times, at least 4 people are injured and 1 reportedly dead. Authorities have the suspect in custody who is believed to be the student at the school.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. A local pop-up vintage market has great treasures and amazing people to satisfy your inner explorer. Our reporter Jay shows us where to find the best antiques.
The first Sunday of the month sees a pop-up of tents on the Cal State Fullerton campus, attracting shoppers to check out the antiques and vintage merchandise at the Savoir Faire Market. Diane White is the host and creator of the market. She started it 4 years ago to share her passion for vintage flea markets.
I don't know, there's a buzz about it, and then finding, a great treasure, taking it home, and what people collect.
Whoa, that's weird.
The market is looking to expand and bring awareness to the community and potential customers.
Well, we're trying to grow. We're trying to get people to come down here, get the locals to know. It's just hard to get the word out since a lot of the folks that do this type of thing are, let's say, mature age and don't really know the whole social media thing.
The market, of course, wouldn't be what it is without its friendly vendors. They are passionate about what they do and take pride in their stands and merchandise.
I'm Tyler with One Man's Junk, One Man's Junk OC on Instagram and Facebook.
The vendors look forward to sharing with their customers every month and enjoy seeing new faces come by their tents.
I really like running into people. I can sell online and just put everything in an envelope and send it out, but it's fun to stop and say, hi, how you doing this afternoon?
The atmosphere is light and friendly. Everyone is eager to introduce themselves and participate in the community treasure hunt.
It's about the people. Those are my people.
Come on down to the market on First Sunday and find out what treasures speak to you. For the report, I'm Jay Elder.
The first celebration of Black History Month was in January 1970 at Kent State University, but it was not nationally recognized until 1976. Today we celebrate in the month of February. To kick it off, the university held a reception to celebrate the Black Titan student body and community. Our reporter Jay brings that to us.
In honor of Black History Month and the community of Black students and faculty on campus, President Fran Virgie and his wife Julie hosted the Black History Month celebration. With catering and live music, the congregation celebrated the art, achievement, and culture of the Black Titan community.
Well, it was a good event. I've been there for over a decade, and it's always nice when we celebrate Black history and Black folk at Cal State Fullerton, so it means a lot to me.
The main event was the sharing of love letters from students and faculty to the community. They told their stories of love, support, and inspiration.
My community molded me, shaped me into the man I am and what I'm still becoming. It loved me at times, but I didn't love myself. We should never forget that as much.
In light of recent campus events, this gathering served as a beacon of hope and support from the university. Olora Walker, External Vice President of the Black Student Union, spoke on the proceeding.
What this basically means to BSU is just that we are seen on campus. I guess that let us know that we are seen and there are people that are here on campus that are willing to help us and willing to help create that sense of community and space and safe space for Black students here on campus.
President Virgie presented his love letter to the Black community.
Dear Black Fullerton community, I write to assure you that I hear you. I write to declare to you that we need you. I write to share that I love you. And I write to commit to you that I am with you.
We want to create a community that will generate students that will go out into Orange County and out into California and the nation and help change the world.
For OC News, I'm Jay Elder reporting.
Welcome back. The economic argument has won out over public health concerns as many states begin allowing employers to throw open their doors and call employers back to work. Public health experts are concerned the openings may be premature and could lead to a second wave of infections. Anti-lockdown protests have put some pressure on governors to reopen as federal guidelines expire. But experts warn that early state reopenings could hinder the economic recovery in the long run. Our reporter Jay Elder has more on the story.
Against the recommendations of health officials, several states will begin loosening their social distancing guidelines this week. With varied measures, 30 states will be partially reopening by the start of the weekend.
There's no doubt in my mind that when you pull back mitigation, you're going to start seeing cases crop up here and there. And if you're not able to handle them, you're going to see another peak, a spike.
The United States has 33% of global coronavirus cases and leads the world in total deaths. Though after just over 45 days, President Trump announced last week that federal social distancing guidelines will not be extended. He instead threw responsibility onto state governors to decide whether to reopen their states or not.
For anyone to declare mission accomplished means that they're turning a blind eye to the fact that over 600 people have died in the last 72 hours.
But at 1.2 million cases, the country still does not have the necessary resources to combat the spread of the virus, much less reopen. Many states that are set to reopen have seen recent upticks in coronavirus cases, while still facing shortages of personal protective equipment and testing kits.
We do not have all the testing capacity we need. This is still one of the biggest problems in this whole horrible crisis we've been through. The federal government has still not led the way on testing, even at this hour. We do not have the lab capacity we need to get to the kind of level of testing, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands a day is what we really need. So this is going to be a struggle.
Since public health guidelines halted the economy, unemployment numbers have reached record highs, with more than 30 million Americans filing for unemployment benefits. Many families cannot count on the benefits and the one-time recovery check passed in the first stimulus package in March, sending them to food banks and donation sites for help.
We will run out of food today. There's no question. We packed for 1,200 bags. There's probably easily 700 more people in line after that.
In response to the prolonged shutdown, anti-lockdown protests have been popping up around several state capitals, with some seeing protesters arrested in violation of social distancing rules, and groups in other states reaching as far as the front doors of their governor's office. Critics of the protests are concerned with aggressive displays of military-style weapons and protesters' lack of regard for social distancing guidelines, while health officials stress that the extension and maintenance of stay-at-home guidelines are needed for the long-term fight in combating the coronavirus pandemic.
If we open up too soon, we're going to see a resurgence of cases, a lot more people getting sick and dying, and we're going to have to shut back down again.
For OC News, I'm Jay Elder.
Well, that's it for today, Titans. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to follow our social media under the handle at OC News CSUF. I'm Tian Williams.
And I'm Dolores Alvarez. We leave you tonight with another look at Alicia Keys' Thank You music video. Good night.
You're the engine that makes all things go, and you're always in disguise, my hero. I see your light in the dark, smile in my face when we all know it's hard. There's no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, know I love you for that.